magnificent Sunday in Sydney. Welcome to Leichhardt Oval for today's big second-round clash between Balmain and St George. They're number 1 and number 2 on the Winfield Cup Premiership table, and a win for the Saints will see them joint leaders on 34. But the Tigers have shown this season they can beat St George. In the first round, they came from 13 points behind to win by 24-19. Then just 4 days later, on the 8th of May, in a National Panasonic Cup quarter-final, the Tigers again defeated the Saints. This time, the scoreline, 20 points to 18. A game with many characteristics. Balmain have one of the competition's leading point scorers in their team, Ross Conlon. He scored 2 tries and kicked 73 goals for a total of 154. He's second only to Canberra's Ron Ghetto. St George, on the other hand, have the competition's leading try scorer, Steve Linnane, totalling 52 points from 13 tries. The Balmain team readout for today is Jack, Davidson, Conlon, Schofield, Gartner, Bevan, Gale, Pierce, Owens, Brooks, Hemsley, Elias and Clark. The Saints, Burgess, Johns, O'Connor, Beattie, Morris, Linnane, Haddock, Wynn, Fafita, Noak, Young, Ritchie and Jarvis. And the referee for this top encounter today is Kevin Roberts. So there it is, the start of this very interesting battle between the two top of the table sides in 1985. And it's Michael O'Connor who's tackled inside the 22 first play of the game. Here's Jarvis outside the 22 and beyond. Wind coming from behind St George in the first 40. It's coming out of the north-northeast at 26 k's. Very strong, gusting up the ground. And with a fellow like Mike O'Connor in your side for goal kicking anyway, he's going to be taking shots from a long way out. Very, very heavy tackle there by Balmain. Well, Hemsley pulled Brooks out of the tackle. It was probably a bit silly of Kerry to do that, because what he in fact was saying to the referee, he's overindulged. And that's the way Robert saw it, but Brooks got under and Hemsley got over, and between them they crunched the St George player to the ground. Brooks penalised as Beattie shoots for touch into the enormous crowd here today. I haven't seen, I don't think, a bigger crowd at Leichhardt since the 76 Cup final between the Tigers and the Bears. That was in excess of 22,000, and this must be bordering on it. I'm sure the ground record for premiership matches here today has been well and truly busted. This is Noak. Premiership ground record here at Leichhardt is just over 19,000. Here's John Fafita, just outside the 22. One of the 2 second rowers that I see, Ian Walsh, believes should not be in this top grade side for St George. An attempted drop goal unsuccessful from Steve Linnane. And back to the 22 for the place kick restart. Didn't miss by much, did it? The NEC replay. And this is the NEC big game on 10 Sports. Let's hope you enjoy it, because quite obviously this is the match that the fans have been waiting for. And it certainly couldn't have come on a more beautiful day. Bill Anderson, welcome to the telecast.
Thanks, Ray. It is going to be a great game. I think that St George have got the forward strength to win this one. Well, that's an interesting one from Kevin Roberts. The St George players moved up before the ball had cleared the ruck, and some referees tend to let that go. But as I was saying, I think St George have got the forward strength to stop the Tigers, provided they can eliminate a lot of the basic errors that have marred their game on occasions this year.
So Balmain taking the tap kick, and it's been fired out for a second man run from Clark. One of the Holy Cross connection. Elias getting the ball over to John Owens, who also came out of that mighty fine college. Johnny Owens, Benny Elias, that man Bevan, Gale, of course, he fits into that category, and so does Paul Clark, and later in the match you'll probably see another in the shape of Mike Marquito. This is Gary Jack with the ball, tackled 15 metres into Saints area. Across for Gale to give it wide to Elias, and then a dummy around the back of Pierce, and the little hooker takes the tackle from Pat Jarvis and from Ritchie. And Linnane was involved too. Oh, Gale had to rush that. Beattie took it nicely. He was around about silly mid-on, and he picked it up beautifully, and he's taken play to near the halfway. Here's Young, crushing it ahead. He's been to my way of thinking, the form front rower of the year. But a man better versed in knowledge of forward play than I is another of my co-commentators, Graham Hughes. And Graham, if you can hear me, and I've got to preface it by saying that if he fires, the Saints certainly will fire.
Yes, he's been in sensational form, the same as Billy Note. Ray, the guy that just made the break then, but Craig Young leads from the front. He's the man that can get him home today, because I think if there's a weakness in the Balmain side, it might be simply because St George have the advantage in the front row.
Extreme pressure applied by Balmain on Graham Wynn. The Tigers would be fully aware that Wynn can be a very dangerous player. He has to be hustled, he has to be bustled, and if you can do that early, then Graham's game can go off very quickly. Another penalty going to Balmain.
And that's for the same reason as the first one. The St George players are moving up before the ball clears the ruck, and Kevin Roberts is a referee that's very careful about infringements around the play of the ball and likes to keep a good 5 metres.
So Scott Gale to take this touch finder. I was just watching that ball coming along the St George back line from Haddock to Lanane, and so it went on. And there was just an expression of nerves there with certain St George players. Of course, it would be in the Balmain team as well. Here's Elias feeding it to Gale. On it goes to Clark, running off a second pivot, hitting it up to the 22 line. In the middle of the ground from Gale, it's gone across to Bevan. Bevan to Conlon. They've got the numbers, the Tigers. Conlon, if he could have popped that ball, Gary Schofield would have been home for a try. A long ball out for Elias. A bad pass out to Gale. And now it's with Johnny Owens, and he's tackled 25 metres out. It's with Elias now to the right and for Hemsley, and Hemsley holds it back and gives it beautifully then for Bevan to give it back to Clark, and Clark to Schofield, and Schofield to Hemsley. Hemsley gets it to Conlon. It's a sensational try. The Tigers have scored, and the crowd has gone absolutely berserk. A crowd of around 22,000. Partisan Balmain have seen the Tigers come out roaring in the opening minutes of the match, aided of course by the penalties that went their way, but they really kept the pot boiling here as Big Hemsley, he created the opening by delicately giving it to Bevan. Bevan got it to Big Paul Clark, and then it was on to Schofield in desperation to Hemsley. Hemsley to Conlon, and Ross Conlon scores his 3rd try of the year.
You can put this try down to Balmain's ability to keep the ball alive. There were a number of occasions when St George looked like they might have stopped it. There was one, but the player Bevan was able to get his hands free and keep the ball alive to support play. Back over the top to Clark, then on to Schofield. Schofield kept the ball alive to the support in the form of Hemsley. Hemsley on to Conlon, and over he goes for a great Balmain try.
Sure as hell was a good try for Balmain, and Kerry Hemsley, take a bow. That was a beautiful piece of work. He put Bevan through the hole, then he backed up and supported and gave the final pass, one of the final passes to make the scoreline 4-0. And here's Conlon, as that picture shows you, 12 metres in, 21 metres out on that angle. Can he convert his own try? Bangs it. Beautiful kick. Never left the line at any stage. Ross Conlon and Balmain 6-0. The NEC big game, and the big one of the year is off and running. Clark plays it to Elias. Long ball to Gale. Equally long ball to Bevan. He can't run. Conlon, short pass away to Owens. Owens to Schofield. A quick ball through for Pearce to give to Gartner. Gartner's down the line to Schofield. Kicks over the top. It'll be play on. The crowd appeals for a penalty for a late tackle on Schofield. But not for mine. Not for mine. And it's St George's Graham Wynn with the ball. This was the tackle on Schofield. He got the kick in. Graham, we've just had a shot of Stanton giving final instructions to Gary Bridge. He's coming on, eh?
Yeah, Bevan's no good, Ray. He'll be coming straight off now.
All right, so Balmain to go onto the attack. It'll be a fitting finale for Paul Bevan if they could score on the last 6 tackles that he'll probably be out there for. Here's Hemsley, 10 metres away from the line, on the hillside of the ground, the scoreboard side of Leichhardt. The ball comes to Gale. They set for one of their many plays. Schofield to Conlon, infield for Jack, and Jack is tackled on the 22 by the little fellows, Haddock and Lanane. Away for Gale and on to Pearce, and Pearce goes for the bust, but Fafita is there with Beattie to pull him down. They're about 15 metres out from the Saints line. to Gale, out to Elias wide, back to Gale. Gale trying to get between them, but he's tackled on 5. Right in the middle of the ground, Bevan is off. Bridge is on now, in jumper 17. They'll go for the air here, I would think, Balmain. Back it goes for David Brooks, a drop goal shot. It looks beautiful. He's got it. It's 7 points to 0 now in favour of the Tigers. It was spun back for David Brooks, and he had all the time in the world, and he put it straight over the black and gold dot here at Leichhardt. 7-0 to the home side. Jack, Elias, inside for Clark.
I think if Roy Masters had one worry going into this game, it was going to be St George's handling errors, and that's something that's bugged them all year, and so far they've made 6 mistakes, and no doubt Roy Masters would be concerned about that, and that coupled with this ironclad Balmain defence is making it a difficult task for the Dragons.
Burgess going back to field. A Scott Gale kick ahead, and here's Burgess pursued by Gary Bridge. Eventually got him. Plays the ball, they keep stretching it to the left, and this is Michael Beattie. Hemsley across the top of John Owens underneath. As they come back to the centre of the ground, and Jarvis.
They're finding it hard to break the line, aren't they? And I think this is where Perry Haddock and Steve Lanane have got to take the initiative and kick.
Richie! Inside the 40-metre line. He's still going. He ran away from Steve Lanane, though. Lanane got there to support him, but he ran away from him. Young, John Fafita now. Fafita gets it to Beattie. Beattie is tackled and loses the ball.
That's a try.
Morris puts it down. Referee Roberts giving the try. Referee Kevin Roberts has ruled the try. This was how it happened. Craig Young to John Fafita, and then it was Michael Beattie, and it was knocked down by Balmain's Gary Schofield. I've got to be honest, I didn't see it. Kevin Roberts was on the spot to see exactly what transpired, and that's why Bill Anderson didn't hesitate to say that's a fair try.
Well, this was a mixture of some scrappy play and some great play by St George. There was no doubt it did come off Schofield's hand, as we've seen many times in the past. Morris kicked and chased, and he came up with 4 points.
So, what looked on the surface as though it might have been a refereeing blunder turned out to be a spot-on ruling. And St George are back to a situation of 7-4, their first points in the match. But as I pointed out earlier, this breeze is a big one, and I'm sure Roy Masters would rather have been 3 points in front, if not 7 in front, coming up to the break in 10 minutes' time, than trailing by 3 at the moment.
And just when I'm saying they're finding it hard to break the line,
they do. So Mike O'Connor converts. The extras are there for the Saints, and 7 points to 6 is the scoreline between the Premiership front runners, Balmain and St George. Here is Young with the ball, giving it back to Richie, now to Jarvis. Jarvis up to the 22-metre point, and we're in that situation of about 8 minutes of time before the break. Haddock had a little juggle of the ball. That just took a little bit of the edge off this attacking play. And it's Graham Wynn who's going to play it in the centre of the ground. It's gone away to Haddock on the left, into the middle now for Young. Young is tackled. He's about 15 metres out from the Balmain line. I reckon that's 4 tackles gone. Richie across to Jarvis. Jarvis thumping it ahead. That's the 4th tackle now. He's playing the ball back to Richie, away to Young. He switches it across back to where it was before. Haddock gives the pass to Noak. Noak gets inside Owens. Noak has got the ball back to Beat. He's over! It's a try for Billy Noak. Well, I thought Gary Jack had him, and I think Gary Jack thought he did too. The Saints have put a couple of tries on the board in quick succession. It looked like it was going to the open side, but Young switched it back to the blind. Haddock gave it to Noak. He got inside John Owens. Gary Jack comes at him. He looks as though he's got him, but Noak is able to free himself from the tackle and pick up the 4 points.
Craig Young read this well. He realised that St George had extras back on the blind side. He switched the ball there. There was a hint of a shepherd, but I don't think it was. Billy Noak stepped off the right foot. Jack had saved Balmain once before this afternoon, but wasn't strong enough to do it again, and Noak crashed over.
So Mike O'Connor with a relatively simple conversion attempt. hits it sweetly. He's got the extras again, and so St. George, after trailing 7-0, are leading by 12 points to 7. Interesting statistic just been handed to me. Missed tackles, Balmain 14, St. George 7.
I think you'd find that most of those have been in the last 10 minutes.
Kick off down to Burgess. This crowd, they certainly are getting their money's worth. They're jam-packed in here. There's not room for another individual, I don't think. Look at them. They've grabbed everything they can. Rooftops, tops of toilets, fences, anything at all. Have a look at these two blokes. Thank goodness it's not a scorcher. They wouldn't be sitting down for a while.
I still think that St. George have got opportunities to use their kicking game a little bit more. Balmain are playing no cover defence except Gary Jack back, and I'm sure they'd get success out of it.
Ah, great ball by Craig Young to Barry Haddock. Now it's Billy Noak again. He didn't take a look that time. He had Lanane running free on his outside. And it's a penalty to the Saints, and it's a sin bin. A sin bin for Gary Jack of 10 minutes. Here was Billy Noak, tackled by Jack. Jack knew the situation was desperate, and Jack just persisted and got himself 10 minutes back in the sin bin. Here's O'Connor now. 30 metres out on a bit of an angle. He's got it again, Michael O'Connor. He's taken St. George to a lead of 14 points to 7. Have a look at this bloke. He's Conlon now with the restart. Burgess. Recalling what I told you in our lead up to this match today. The Tigers in the first round were down by 13 points and they came back to beat St. George. Here they are trailing 14 points to 7. It's Young throwing beautiful footballs all over the ground. That wasn't so hot, but he really has been the difference, Craig Young. So it's Balmain scrum win, and Pearce standing out of his scrum, of course, with Gary Jack in the sin bin. And it's across to Gale now. This man is Gartner, and on to Bridge. Bridge away from Lanane. He's about 26 metres out from the St. George line. And that's the second tackle, and it's gone to Gale. And Gale gets it across to John Owens, and he gets a ball away for Russell Gartner. And Gartner goes towards the sideline, and Steve Morris puts him into touch. That was a very lucky ball that Russell Gartner finished up with, and Morris, very cagey piece of wing football there. He offered the sideline to Russell Gartner.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a good idea to try and beat Morris on the outside.
I agree with you entirely, but he sort of sucked him into going there. And here's a penalty going to Balmain. It's for collapsing in the scrum. So Balmain will have the opportunity now to mount a rehearsed move. They'll find the line. They do off the boot of Gale, and they'll probably work a couple of plays. One to the open and maybe one back to the blind before they go for what they're actually working on. So Gartner is tackled. Owens comes another one back to the middle. They'll go back to the blind for sure. They're stacking it. Here's Gale, and here's the switch in direction for Pearce. Pearce coming across the ground. He's tackled. Now they're coming to the open side. Benny Elias throws the big dummy, and he's about a metre out on tackle number 4. Gee, they're light on the blind side, St. George. Balmain have read it and gone to it. Hemsley can't take it. John Owens has come down with it, but the ball went forward off Hemsley, and a scrum will form with St George to feed. It had already come off Kerry Hemsley's arms and gone forward. St George coming up with the ball. Perry Haddock about 12 metres out from his own line. This is Burgess. Now it's Jarvis. And there's the siren. That's the end of the first 40 minutes. St George, after trailing 7-0, are leading by 14 points to 7. Sideline comment, Graham Hughes.
Well, Ray, a magnificent comeback by St George. Balmain started out very impressively, but the Saints certainly put it together in those last 15 or 20 minutes. The match is far from over, and for me, the match will probably be decided on how well Balmain used this second half breeze. Their trumps in that area will be Scott Gale and Gary Bridge.
At Pizza Hut, you can now enjoy a deep pan pizza as deep as you like. You just order as many toppings as you want. An idea that, as you can see, has been greeted with a fair degree of enthusiasm by our good friends, the Americans. We're confident that here, too, you will enjoy the deep-as-you-like pizza, but we do anticipate a trifle more restrained reaction.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Pizza Hut, for the deep-as-you-like deep pan pizza.
Do you drink any other lager? Oh, so you've drunk 4X all your life?
No. Not yet.
Castlemaine 4X is Australia's best-selling lager. In fact, Australians wouldn't give a Castlemaine 4X for any other lager.
So St George running into the breeze for the second half. Interesting statistic in that first half, running with the breeze, St George only kicked 6 times and Balmain kicked 8. This is Russell Gartner now. Gale, Bridge.
Bridge is going to be a very important player for Balmain in this second half. He's played a full reserve grade game, then come on to replace the injured Bevan in the first half of this match, and Frank Stanton must be concerned just how long he can keep going for.
It's Kerry Hemsley fighting to play the ball. One of the St George players must have got kicked by Hemsley. It's over to Schofield now, and he's tackled just outside his own 22. Perry Haddock was the man who got, I think, a kick in that tackle on Hemsley. Well, there's a kick ahead by Benny Elias. He's hoping for the best, and it's found touch. I was looking back at Elias. He was lying on the ground, and he was praying that it would find touch. Replacement getting ready for the Tigers. Let's go to Graham.
Mick Campbell in 19 for the Tigers on the sideline, Ray. He'll go on to replace Gary Bridge.
Well, this crowd today at Leichhardt emphasises again, if you give the Sydney sporting public the big clash on a Butte day, they'll come out. The pass from Fafita, look forward to me. It's with Mike O'Connor. Gale chases. The pass inside has gone astray. The referee's gone down. He and Wayne Pearce clashed. Burgess is tackled on the 22 line, but I honestly believe there was a pass up the ground that was forward, and maybe there was another one just there. Graham Winner's tackled, 10 metres out from the line. Steve Morris runs, gives it to Haddock. Haddock to Jarvis. The ball again is on the ground. Jarvis rakes it back. Going back for it, there is Burgess, and Burgess is tackled 20 metres out from the Balmain line. Played back there for Ritchie to give to Fafita. He comes to Brooks, gets his pass to Jarvis. Jarvis stands and gets it to Ritchie, but he sold him a St Vincent's. That was a real hospital pass. Poor little Ritchie, he was crunched by Clark. It's gone to Haddock. He goes for the air, and here they come, the St George runners, but the ball has sat up there in the wind, and Conlon had it, lost it. The ball went from John Owens comes across now for Davidson. He gets the pass inside, picked up by Benny Elias. 6 more tackles rules the referee. St George stretched to the limits at the moment, but now they strike prematurely, and it'll be Balmain to clear. There's Wayne Pearce going up to check on the health of Kevin Roberts. I think that's what he's doing. Maybe not. Maybe I've misread it. Scrum to be fed by Perry Haddock. Won by St George. And the little fellow scoots out the open side. Linane got a ball to Burgess. Burgess is tackled. Oh, it was a desperate tackle. It had to be made by Campbell. Now they go through to Jarvis. Fafita. Conlon very, very groggy. He's not quite sure where he is or what happened. Graham, you're sitting down on the sideline, and it's harder for you to see it than us. But did you see anything? I'll come back to you. Here's a big run down the flank there for Johns. He's tackled midway 22, halfway on the Balmain end of the pitch. Yes, Graham, I had to pull out of it.
Well, I didn't pick up anything in the tackle, but he's certainly been knocked senseless, Ross Conlon. He can't take any further part in this match, and I've just noticed that Stephen Humphries in 15 with Frank Stanton here at the front of the tunnel. He'll be going straight on.
Well, St John's ambulance men are going on, the stretcher is going on, and Kevin Roberts has called timeout for the removal from the field of Balmain's prolific point scorer, Ross Conlon. He scored a try in this match, the first of the game, and kicked 1 goal. It's a big, big blow to lose Conlon at this stage of the game. Well, here's the last time Ross handled the ball. He was tackled, and on his way to the ground, his head may have come in contact with a St George arm, but I'm glad we showed you that, because it proved there was absolutely nothing in it. Whatever happened was purely accidental. And there's Ross being stretchered from the field, heavily concussed, and here's Stephen Humphries on the field in jumper number 15. It looks like John Davidson has gone to full back. Pearce, good tackle by Johnny Fafita. He came across and he had tremendous determination in his drive. This is Brooks.
I think what's happened is Humphries has gone onto the wing and Garton has moved into the centre position. Now
it's Campbell to Clark. So Balmain have had some crippling injuries in the match. They lost one 5-8. They used another one for as long as they could. Then he had to be replaced, or was replaced. And then they just lost Conlon. So the back line has been shuffled and shuffled again. Elias kicks. Burgess going quickly across the ground. Morris is there. Humphries has come through in defence. And it's a penalty, is it? No, I thought he may have been going to blow the whistle and get St George a penalty, because Stephen Humphries appeared to be in front of the kicker. And thereby, of course, had to stay outside the 5. But it's played by O'Connor. Jarvis put it down. You don't see him do that very much. And this is Pearce. So Balmain are now in a very strong attacking position, only 15 metres out. Gale away to John Owens, and Owens stands in a tackle. It's gone to Elias, and Elias is pulled down. 18 minutes of the NEC big game remaining, and it's a penalty to Balmain. Well, of course, they've got Gary Schofield, who's a very accomplished goal kicker. David Brooks, of course, kicks goals just fine. He was the Balmain kicker last year, but this man Schofield, they say, has a very impressive goal-kicking record back in England. So a very worried Frank Stanton. Gary Schofield is the kicker. His side down by 7. They need this one. He's got it. Yes, he's got it. The Tigers are back within striking distance. 14 points to 9. St George leading as it goes out from Campbell to Clark, and Clark is tackled. Still about 9 metres into St George's area. Away goes Gale from dummy half. He's in and around and away to the 22, and he dummies. Oh, he dummies.
Should have passed the ball.
He had 3 men outside him unmarked. Benny Elias now dummies and throws the long ball to Hemsley. Hemsley to Owens. Owens shrugs off a tackle. He's tackled now 15 metres out. 5 tackles gone for Balmain. Hemsley, Benny Elias, He puts up the bomb. Up they go for it. Burgess. No pressure really there on him. Well, the bomb, as you can see, it didn't have a very big chase.
In that set of 6, I thought that Scott Gale made a bad option. He elected to throw a dummy and run when he had unmarked support outside.
It was a real blunder for the youngster, but here's Gary Jack going back to the 22 line. Brace yourself for the last 12 of this one. They look like being pretty hectic. Here's Campbell, the replacement. Look at this run from the number 19. He's 8 metres out. He's inspired Balmain. Gale, long ball out for Owens. Around the corner for Brooks. Over the top it goes. It's play on. No, it's not. The ball has gone forward, says the referee. Let's go back to our seats, ladies and gentlemen. Steve Funnell coming on in 23 for the Saints. Billy Noak is coming off totally exhausted. Graham O'Grady's getting ready. Noak comes off with 22 tackles to his credit. Lenane is tackled. In fact, Campbell makes a crunching tackle on him. Graham Wynn comes away. Graham O'Grady is on the sideline in 21. A tremendous atmosphere here at Leichhardt. Before a crowd of, I think, around 22,000. They haven't given us the crowd. The ground record in excess of 22,000 set on cup final night back in 76. But the ground record for the premiership undoubtedly has been smashed. But I'm telling you, the noise here has been absolutely deafening today. Funnell is tackled, 30 metres out, 14-9 in favour of the Dragons. Conlon suffering from concussion. That's the report from the rooms. And it's knocked down by O'Connor. Gale! Gale's away! He's very fast! He's still going, Gale! He picks up Davidson! Davidson tackled! Davidson is tackled! 10 metres out from the line. St George trying to reassemble. It's a push ball to the right. Away to Elias. On to Schofield. He gets out of a tackle. He steps back in field. He picks up Gary Jack. Kerry Hemsley. It's now Scott Gale. Gale striding up to the 5-metre line. He's held there. Balmain piling on the pressure. Hemsley. Gary Schofield. Schofield's a metre out from the line. 14 points to 9 in favour of the Dragons. With 10 to go, it's Scott Gale, long ball for Gardner. Gardner floats it out for Humphreys. He'll score. Humphreys is in. Humphreys has scored. Wide out. It's 14 points to 13. Another sensational game between the Dragons and the Tigers. Young Stephen Humphreys scores the try. Frank Stanton comes from his seat. Well, Scott Gale, he almost, you could see him, was too exhausted to pass the ball. And then it went across, a fortuitous bounce for Humphreys, and then the young fullback goes in to score, playing on the wing here as a replacement.
It's been a lift-in performance by Scott Gale. It's raised the Tigers' hopes. He virtually did everything himself in the last 5 minutes. A long ball out to Humphreys. It was a bit of a scrappy ball, but he picked it up, knew the way to the try line and did the rest.
He only came out of retirement 6 weeks ago, this youngster, the son of former league boss Kevin. And I reckon Dad would be pretty proud of him at the moment. But what about Schofield? He can earn all his fee here with this kick. From the touchline. It looks good. It looks good. It's a goal. He's kicked it from the sideline. And the crowd has erupted. The Balmain crowd has erupted. The home side is a point in front. Balmain 15. St George 14. Top of the table clash. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. What a moment in sport this is. Gary Schofield, you are the Lord Mayor of Balmain if you want the job. Stand aside, Nifty. You've lost the job, I'd say, to this young man, Gary Schofield. Benny Elias is tackled. 30 metres out. I can't hear a thing here at Leichhardt. The noise is absolutely deafening now as this home crowd really giving it to the boys now. Wayne Pearce, 11 metres, his side of the halfway. Benny Elias, away for Campbell. What a game he's had since he came on. Clark to Jack. Jack, up to the halfway goes Gary Jack, the Australian fullback. The National Panasonic Cup champions and premiership leaders in front by a point, and Gale has found touch 8 metres inside the 22 line. And again the crowd goes absolutely berserk. Graham Hughes, are you still there or are you speechless?
Well, this is a magnificent game of football, Ray, but I'm just going to say that the instructions had already been sent out from Frank Stanton while Schofield was taking that kick for goal. He wanted safety first from all the players, and he wants the ball down in the St George quarter, and they played it to perfection.
O'Grady, he gets a pass away. Johns is running with the ball. He's tackled 10 metres out from, or 10 metres inside of halfway. This is Michael Beattie. Desperate stuff from Russell Gardner.
And isn't that David Brooks' field goal in the first half looking important now? And it wouldn't surprise me at all that if St George can get down in the Balmain quarter, that they'll also look for a field goal. They'd be prepared to settle for a draw in this one.
St George have got 6 more tackles. It's Perry Haddock stretching it out to Michael O'Connor. He gets away from 2 forwards. He kicks ahead. Hemsley might have taken him late. He did. It's going to be a penalty. It's going to be a St George penalty for Michael O'Connor to change the scoreline in their favour. So Hemsley comes off. Mike Marquito goes on. And the Balmain crowd applauding Hemsley for a strong game. 3 from 4 for Mike O'Connor. He's kicking into the breeze, but he's only 22 metres out, and he's 12 metres in from touch. Can Michael O'Connor kick the goal? If he can, Saints go back to the lead. He hits it, he's got it, yes sirree! Michael O'Connor puts the Dragons in front by a point, and the red and whites are going up now. It won't be any consolation to these players, I'm sure, if and when they're watching our telecast, but let me say this, there hasn't been a loser out there today. In reality, I suppose there has been, but by Jove, you've turned on a great one for the crowd, both on TV and here today. They pot the field goal. Michael O'Connor dropped goals, and the Saints lead by 17 points to 15. This is Pat Jarvis now. Steve Funnell tackled right on the halfway. Perry Haddock. Now it's Graham O'Grady. Back for Craig Young. Craig Young up and turns it inside for Fafita. And Fafita has tackled 15 metres into Balmain's territory. Here's Haddock getting in and around. He puts the kick up. Gary Jack's underneath it. And Jack with one of the last throws of the dice. Tackled 30 metres out. Played back to Campbell. Campbell to Gale. Gale to Gardner. Gardner to Davidson. Davidson's making a long run. He's got to centre the ball if he can. Snuffed out by Graham O'Grady.
And that's one of the reasons that Roy Masters has sent Graham O'Grady onto the field. He's a tremendous reader of defence. He saw that St George were in danger and he covered it up.
Here's Johnny Owens tackled now. 15 metres into St George's territory. Benny Elias shapes the kick, holds it back, floats it out to Humphreys. Humphreys is taken by Graham Wynn. Official attendance 21,707 as Benny Elias goes from dummy. It's a penalty to Balmain. Balmain have a chance to level. Gary Schofield will be called across to shoot for 1 point. Would you believe, almost in the same place as he converted the Stephen Humphreys try. He can level at 17 all and leave Balmain on their own at the top of the table. He's missed it. It left the boot badly, and Saints come down with it. It's Glenn Burgess, tackled 5 metres out from the St George line. 17-15 to the Dragons, and here's Funnell with the ball now. Tackled 11 metres into the field of play. Craig Young, a tower of strength for the St George side. Graham Wynn on the quarter. Saints playing it close to the chest. Shaw and Slow does the job at the moment. Fafita just beyond the quarter-way line. 5 tackles gone, and Graham Wynn kicks for touch, and Stephen Humphries allowed it to go. So we see this scrum, probably the last of the match, going down 7 metres into St George's territory, fed by Gale, won by the black and golds, out to Campbell, away to Schofield. Schofield tackled right on the halfway line. The siren must be only a matter of seconds out. It's a penalty to Balmain for holding him down in the tackle. Pearce is saying to Schofield, can you kick it? They're going to go for it. 1 metre on their own side of halfway.
Well, there's a strong wind behind him, and maybe distance isn't a factor. It's just a matter of steering it straight.
Here he goes, 52 metres out. He's missed it. Graham O'Grady takes it back. Heart-stopping stuff here at Leichhardt. O'Grady with a block-busting run. He's still going. O'Grady to the halfway line. There's the siren. It's all over. A memorable game of rugby league, provided by 2 very good rugby league sides who may well be playing the 1985 grand final. For the Saints, Morrison no tries, O'Connor 4 goals and a drop goal. Balmain, Conlon and Humphries tries. Conlon a goal, Schofield 2, and Brooks a field goal.
Mike, I saw you laugh there. They don't come any tougher or closer.
Yeah, that was a tremendous game. And either side really deserved to win it, but I think we wanted it a little bit more than they did today. Tremendous effort, particularly on our forwards part, I thought. And backs just never stopped tackling. It was a good all-round performance.
I'll put it to you, what was going through your minds in those dying few minutes? You had the kick all lined up.
Oh, that one I was more worried about Scully's 2 attempts than mine. Nothing in particular, I just had to concentrate.
In a memorable game of football here today at Leichhardt Oval, our man of the match is the St George second-row forward, John Fafita. Congratulations, John. That was a great game to watch. What was it like to play in?
It's hard, and we come up, today, and looking forward, to win, to beat Balmain.
For taking today's Man of the Match award, it's my great pleasure to present you with the NEC Game Ball Trophy and also a cheque for $500 from NEC.
Thank you very much.
If you did go wrong, where do you think you did in that, say, in that second half?
No, I think we lost the ball. We put ourselves behind the 8 ball with about 10-minute concentration lapse before half-time when we had the 7-0 break, and then they scored 2 quick tries. That sort of put us behind the 8 ball, and a couple of silly errors in the second half there late cost us the match.
Roy, semi-final, full of pressure, but that's a good test for it today then.
Yes, with about 5 minutes to go, I thought, we're going to do it the hard way, but I've always said that if we win the minor premiership, we'll win the competition, and now with 3 games left to do, I think we can.
You want to finish first and have that break?
Yeah, I think so. Just reading the way that our team is, I think our team is a sort of a side that could do with a week's break and then come in nice and fresh and play a power game.
Well, John Fafita takes out the Man of the Match award, a match in which there were several fine performers, but Fafita's effort, I thought, was outstanding, and it goes back to back with some other good performances that the young man has been putting in. Now let's have a look at the full list of scores so far in this round of Winfield Cup football. Canterbury 19, Parramatta 4 yesterday, North 24, West 8 today, Illawarra 24, Eastern Suburbs 14, Saints 17, Balmain 15 in a truly memorable match, Manly 17, Canberra 2. 2 minutes into the second half, Big Daly made the bust for Manly. It carried them onto the attack. He played the ball, it went out to Paul Vaughton, and from the captain to Dale Shearer, and he went in to score, making it 12 points to 2 in favour of the Eagles, and they ran out winners by 17 to 2. There's the premiership table for you. Balmain and St George equal top of the table, 34, and well clear of Parramatta and Canterbury on 30 points apiece. Then it's 3 points to Manly, 27, Penrith 25, Cronulla a match in hand, 22, East 21, they had to win today, Easts, Canberra 20, South a match in hand, 18, then North 17, West 16, Illawarra 12. That takes us to next weekend. Illawarra Balmain, Canberra Easts, Parramatta Manly, North Canterbury Southwests, Penrith Cronulla and St George are guaranteed 2 points. On behalf of Graham and Bill and the 10 Sports team, I really hope you enjoyed what has been a match that I know we all enjoyed bringing to you. Balmain and St George. I'm Ray Warren. Good night.